Okay, everybody, let's welcome Crushers GC, minus one of them. We are joined by Paul Casey, our captain Bryson DeChambeau, and Anirban Lahiri. Unfortunately, Charles Howell had to play 18 in the Pro-Am today. He teed off at 8, so he could not join us. But these three will grace us with their presence. So you guys, the seeding order for the Dallas Team Championship will be determined this week with the top 3 teams receiving byes. Crushers and Legion 13 have already secured their spots. How important is it to have that first round bye? I'll start with you, Paul.
I mean, it gives a, I don't know. I know. It's
okay, Bryson, start with you.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. We just ultimately just get ourselves through to Sunday and then play great golf from there. I think we proved the very first year that sometimes we called out the stingers. I say we because it was actually Bryson, but I'll soften the blow. He called out the stingers, and it, I don't want to say it backfired. It just is what it is. It shows the volatility of match play. So to us, to me anyway, personally, the bye just means one more day to prepare. It means I get to save some energy, but ultimately it's all about playing great golf on Saturday and then finishing it off on Sunday.
Bryson?
Yeah, I think the most important piece for us and being number one is having the freedom to choose whoever we want to go against on Saturday. That's a big, crucial pick for us. Give us a little bit more freedom, even though it's no guarantee in match play. It allows us to. We played the Cleeks last year, and it was still a tough match against Martin, and the boys had a tough match, and Paul played well. It was just difficult no matter who you play out here. But for the most part, at least gives us a pathway or an angle to hopefully give us an edge. And so being number one is key for us, crucial for us. We think we've played some of the best golf this year. So we feel like we want to be in that number one spot going into next week.
There's pride, I think, on finishing number one in the regular season.
Yeah. And Bon, do you feel any added pressure or confidence heading in as the defending champions to Dallas next week?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it matters because once you get down, once you go and, it's Saturday morning, whoever you're playing against, it's just about getting down to business and playing golf at that point of time. I think, honestly, once you get to Sunday, then there's a different kind of pressure, and it's got nothing to do with to do with being defending champions. Every score counts, your score counts, and your team's counting on you. So I think the pressure of performing for your team way outweighs any of the history behind it, and the pressure of just wanting to do well for your team is a lot more than anything else. I think none of us are thinking about what happened last year or what we should or shouldn't do. We just want to get the point for our team on Saturday, and we want to make sure that we contribute to a winning cause on Sunday. Nothing else really matters.
I know it really could be any amount of teams that you guys have the opportunity to match up against on Saturday, but is there any particular team that you guys are hoping to go against on Saturday for that first matchup?
No.
Stingers.
Yeah, Stingers, exactly.
So there's a lot at stake this week at LIV Golf Chicago for a lot of players. Some are facing relegation, even some captains facing relegation this week for the first time in LIV Golf history. And some have a chance of securing their spot in the lock zone as well and having that security and safety for next year. But all three of you are in the lock zone, and the Crushers obviously have secured their first round bye. Does this week feel less stressful and intense for you?
I think we're still trying to compete to win the team aspect of it, and the individual aspect of each one of us want to do our absolute best. So I don't, at least from my perspective, I think we all come into each and every week trying to do our best, no matter what the stakes or situation is. We all want to win. We're all competitive. We all love being on that podium.
So have you noticed a different vibe, though, around some of your colleagues this week?
I've personally seen it, yeah. It's definitely different, which is good. I mean, it means something. That's the more important piece. Is this means something for a lot of people this week, and it means a lot for us still, but for others, it's like it's their life, It's do or die.
Yeah. Have you noticed anything, Bon?
Oh, it's always like that. You get to the end of the season. It's not just this week. I think you could feel it in Greenbrier too, because as the events start counting down, you're like, oh, I got 3 more events. I got 2 more events. This is my last opportunity for a lot of guys, who are facing slightly more challenging situations. But again, that's the beauty of pro golf, and you need to have that, and it exists. And that tells you just how competitive it is. It tells you just how, you have to work your butt off to essentially make sure that you're relevant and you're making a difference, and you're around. It's not that easy.
And Paul, what does that say about like the integrity of the competition of this league with the DZ, with the drop zone and relegation, given that there are some really big names out here that are at risk for relegation, and we're following through with it?
I mean, look, with the short season that we have compared to traditional tour golf that the three of us have experienced through the last couple of decades, those things can happen. 13 regular season events. And nowhere to hide. The same world-class field every single week. This is what's going to happen. And maybe people didn't realize that the first season or two. We always were very aware of it. And so I think now it's being talked about is only a good thing. I try and, unlike these two, I try and avoid those. I mean, I'm a guy who's lost tour cards through the years on tours, and it's hard, man. So I try to kind of stay away from a lot of it because you don't necessarily want to be around guys who are, really stressed out, and it's going to be a difficult road for a lot of guys who do get, because of that churn. What do they do next? They'll want to fight their way back out here, and there's an opportunity to do that, and I love that. And from another side of it, it's also exciting to see who's going to replace them. So it's bittersweet in a lot of ways.
So last year in Chicago, we played at a different course, but you guys had a sweep with both the individual win and the team win. Is there something about Chicago, and do you guys feel confident heading into this week?
I've always liked the Midwest. I think that type of golf suits my game pretty well. Rich Harvest Farms felt pretty solid. I feel really bad for Vaughn on that, but again, it's a part of the competition out here. It's a part of the golf. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some, and I think we just play well in these types of conditions, and we're just consistent. We continue to give ourselves chances throughout the year, and I feel like our games are all in a pretty solid place from what I've seen and what I feel. So from my perspective, I think we're going to give it a great chance this week, and we're always going to give it our best. There's no doubt about that.
So unique this week, we're playing on a public course, and this course was actually ranked the #1 public course in Illinois. How cool is it for fans to have the opportunity to come actually play the course that the Tour Pros play? Yeah, I think that's huge. It's giving a great perspective to this community that we're here to support it, one, and two, they have the opportunity to experience what the pros played, right? What us pros played, and I think that's important for people to understand. We're not just going to the most exclusive places in the world. We're going to places that are accessible as well, which I think is fun, and it makes it feel more inclusive, and that's what I think we're about here at LIV. Last and most important question for me, Bryson. The par 4 15th is drivable. What is the plan? I mean,
he lays up every time.
It's going to be a wedge off the tee,
Great. I'll kick it over to Mike.
So when you guys won here last year, that was kind of a nice springboard into the team championship. This year you won twice early, but not since March. So how important is it just to show some good form going into Dallas?
Yeah, I think it's incredibly important. Gives us some confidence for next week. Next week's a good ball striking test. All around, it's a championship-style golf course. So I think having our game is looking fresh and ready to go into next week is important. So I feel like I'm in a good place. I see the other teammates being in a good place, and let's just go play the best golf we possibly can, and hopefully we get some good momentum for next week.
And Paul Bond, how gratifying was it to maintain the team lead? With Legion's won 4 times this year, you guys have won twice, but yet you're still ahead of them in the standings, just from a consistency standpoint.
Yeah, I think, like you said, in the end, the consistency has been a hallmark, not just this season, last season, even 2022. So for as long as the 4 of us have been together on a team, we've been consistent. But I think it's fair to say that all 4 of us feel like we haven't won enough this year. We should have won at least a couple more. And personally, for me, I definitely want to get on another team podium and challenge for another individual title this week. So I think that's what motivates us week in, week out. We've all threatened to win this year, but I don't think we've had a individual win. And that we'd like to change that going into Dallas as well. So that's what keeps us focused, Paul.
I will say, I shout out to John Catlin for standing in for Chucky through the season. He played amazing golf, and I'd love to see him out here next season. But we lost that. You know, Chucky's such a. I mean, it's obvious he's 1/4 of our team, but he's more than that. He's kind of a little bit like the glue on our team, and not having him for a few weeks was. I guess we lost a little bit of mojo in a certain respect, so we've got him back. So I think the fact that we haven't won since early in the season is not necessarily, we're not looking at any other way than we're back at full strength. I think Chucky's not here, but I think it's fair to say he's fit and healthy, isn't he, and keen. And so I think, look for us to be very, very dangerous the next 2 weeks.
And you guys talked about the format change next week where captains don't have to play the other captains. You've kept the same lineup in the match play the first 2 years. Will you contemplate any changes?
No
or not?
comment.
Confidential.
We don't know. I mean, Bryson talks to us, but what Bryson does, and we're not going to talk about strategy. Like, we'll wait and see, and you'll know on Saturday.
All right. And a question for Bryson. So later today, you're playing with Ninja. He's got 19 million Twitch followers. I don't think you've been active on that platform for a few years. Is that a channel that you might look to expand in as you grow your brand at all?
I mean, one day. I've got a lot on my plate right now, so I'm focused on doing the best I can with what I have now. And playing with Ninja today is going to be awesome. I'm super stoked. I've never met him. Always wanted to meet him. I've watched a lot of his streams. He's hilarious, and hopefully he's a pretty good golfer. We'll see how his swing is, but he's I think he plays golf quite frequently, and I don't know. We'll see, but hopefully we can create some good content pieces out of it, and you know, hopefully channel a younger audience a little bit.
And you hit 203 today. What's your high?
That was yesterday, but yeah,
Oh, it was yesterday.
yeah. My high for a 46-inch driver is like I think 210, 211 ball speed. That was when I was full bore going at it as crazy as I could 2-3 years ago. I will not be doing that, but I've been feeling a little slow lately, so trying to just get some of that speed back. And, you know, I just don't want to let the speed go too far down.
I'll show you slow.
Okay.
You don't know what slow is.
But point being is, like, I thoroughly do enjoy it. It's fun going after it and just hitting it hard every once in a while and getting the feeling of just speed through impact again. And sometimes it actually helps me line up the club face a lot easier. It helps me turn the club face over and get comfortable with where my face angle is through impact. So it's a bit of both. Like, I've used it to my advantage. Some people use it and it messes their golf swing up. For me, when I speed train, it actually kind of like lines my golf swing up a little bit sometimes. So I use it for that and just to feel a little bit faster.
How much have you reduced your chase for distance?
I mean, I don't chase for distance anymore, really. I just try to maintain what I'm at. If I'm at 190 to 95 ball speed on the golf course, like I was earlier in the majors this year, that's where I want to be. You know, if technology gets to a place where it proves that we can get to 200, 205 with the driver going dead straight, then yeah, you know, I'll try to make a bit of a push for that as long as it doesn't mess up my golf game. I'm not here to change my golf game whatsoever anymore. I want to do as best as I can and live and win as many majors as possible.
Sean?
Bryson, you got an interesting match coming up in December, as was announced
The
last
showdown?
week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you take us back to how that idea germinates? Like, is there one person who's kind of pushing it forward?
Well, look, I think all of us know we want to get this game back on in good standing. We want to bring this game back to a place where I would say everyone has the opportunity to see the greatest play a lot more than 4 times a year. And I think it's a great opportunity to showcase how we evolve that over the course of time. The details are not very fully fleshed out yet, but we're working on those currently, and we'll get back when we have more details for y'all.
Is it something that's been kicked around between you guys for a while, or is this...
Oh yeah, remember we always wanted to have like a PGA Tour and LIV sort of battle a couple years ago. We always thought that would be pretty cool and whatnot, but I think it's going to develop over the course of time, and hopefully give the people what they want.
And then, in terms of meeting Ninja,
Oh yeah.
do you get nervous as someone of your level of fame meeting people like that?
I used to, not anymore, for the most part. He's a human being, just like we're all human beings up here. When I played in the 2016 Masters, I was nervous meeting Paul Casey. And he proceeded to give me a lot of crap down the 10th fairway along with Johnny Longsocks' caddy. So it just shows that, yes, I got nervous before in the past. And there are people that I do get nervous meeting, and it'll be fun to see, who Ninja is and how he is and how he golfs, and hopefully I can help his game out. But for the most part, I'm pretty solid nowadays. But in the past, yeah, I'd have been super nervous. Yeah.
Paul, I just want to follow up on that. Can you tell us, recount your perception of that day?
It's too long a story, but I did give Bryson a lot of grief.
Paul makes a lot of people nervous, even now.
Do you remember anything specific from that day?
Specifically, I remember everything vividly. We quizzed him, we grilled him, we gave him a lot of grief.
Just tell him.
But the kid, I liked Bryson from pretty much the moment I met him, and the first time we played was that, what year was it? Sorry, 2016. First 2 rounds at the Masters. Jordan Spieth was also in the group, and Jordan had to intervene because he felt we were actually being too hard on Bryson, grilling him too much. Johnny and I were having fun, weren't we? Kind of like playing.
Yeah, what was the question down the 10th?
Don't worry about it, it's fine. It was all about, have we been to the moon? But I saw something that was very impressive right from the get-go, with obviously the one-length clubs and an amazing ball speed, big set of shoulders, and a big heart, and we knew that straight away. So yeah, Bryce and I have been friends since then.
Life comes full circle.
It's pretty wild, actually.
Dan?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
These highly competitive weeks upon us, one of the things that I'm always so curious about is superstitions or little things that people do. Who in the group is maybe considered the superstitious one? And is there anything any of you guys up there would be willing to share that are little sort of nuances that you find important?
Is Chucky the superstitious one? I really don't think we're like crazy superstitious. We all kind of do our own thing. I can tell you for me, I don't really write my scores down until like after 9 holes. That's always like a thing that I've done since I was a kid. It's more of a routine thing than anything. But there are times where I feel like if I make a couple bogeys in a row or do something I shouldn't be doing, or I miss a bad putt, I'll write the score down, and that just kind of is like, all right, I'm done with that. My brain just kind of, I remove myself from that and I just start fresh. So it's not really a superstition, more of like a mental clarity sort of setting a precedent thing. Real quickly, there's a ball marker that I use as a dollar coin, and I always flip it over whenever I move marks. Move my mark over, like if it's in the line of somebody, I just move it over. And I flip the coin over to tails so that I know I flipped it over, because when I was 11, I was playing in a junior tournament, and I moved my coin and I was leading the tournament, and my dad yelled out to me, "Bryson, move your coin back," because I didn't move the coin back. And there was a big controversy around that, because they were like, it's helping Bryson, does he get a shot penalty or not? I ultimately didn't, and I won the tournament by a couple. It wouldn't have mattered either. I won by 3 or something like that. But ultimately, I'll never forget. That was the moment that changed me forever in regards to that, to always flip your coin over whenever you're moving the mark. So that's something that's kind of superstitious, but not really, and it's a dollar coin. I don't really have more than that, but that's kind of me.
I mark the coin. I'll mark my ball with a 10-pence piece, and so it's the Queen's head, because King Charles, I haven't seen a King Charles coin yet, but Queen Elizabeth would always be on there, and I'd always put her looking towards the hole. I felt it was disrespectful if I put the Queen's head down. And if I get a quarter, I'll put it heads up, or any coin, I'll put it heads up. I felt it was always disrespectful to be heads down.
Gotcha. So you're disrespectful to the eagle, on the back
No.
of the coin. Okay. Joking. Joking.
So you can't win.
I don't think any of us are overly superstitious, I don't think. There's a lot of guys who have a lot of idiosyncrasies. For me, I think, personally, if I feel like I'm putting really well and I hit 2 or 3 really good putts that don't go in, I'll just switch the ball out. I'm like, this ball doesn't want to go in the hole. So I'll just get another fresh ball in play. So that's just, little things like that.
So this could be a stretch, but Bryson, we see you go from beard to clean shaven. Is there anything in that? Like I shave before something, or no?
I trim my fingernails on Mondays.
There you go.
For Monday.
I do,
Okay.
because it's like if I mess it up and I cut myself, it doesn't matter. I think Fowler used to do it, but it rings true. And by the time it gets to the end of the week, they're fine.
They're
and then
perfect.
Monday, they just,
And
they
you gotta
trim
do it
again on Monday.
It's a weekly thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's pretty interesting.
We're all weird.
Yeah, my facial hair. I get lazy sometimes, and I don't do it for a while, and then I finally muster up the energy and courage to do it.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Bob?
Paul, I was curious, given the fact that you've gotten to know Bryson as a teammate now here close to the last couple of years, how were you watching the U.S. Open? Did you find yourself viewing it differently, having a friend and teammate in contention? And also, the guy he beat is someone that you know quite well too, which maybe was awkward. But either way, I mean, just in terms of Bryson and getting to that point to win the way he did.
Yeah, look, I'm friends with. I consider myself friends with both. I don't get to see Rory very much, but well, let me preface it by saying I actually don't watch it. So while, yeah, I mean, I will never reveal maybe who I'm necessarily pulling for when I look at a result, but I don't watch it. It's just I've just through the years, it's just something I just don't really want to do.
Thanks.
If I'm not, no, it's. I knew the result within probably a minute, and I was checking it via social media or watching replays and streaming and various other things. But I usually find something to do. I'm usually on the golf course playing or practicing, and that goes back to being a kid. I remember watching Nick Price win I didn't watch it. Nick Price won the Open at Turnberry, and I just didn't want to watch it because I wanted to be there. So I went and practiced, and I stood on the putting green at Burr Hill Golf Club just outside London and making putts, thinking I want to be there one day. And it's still kind of true today. So I'm not there, so I don't really want to watch it. From a positive angle, if that makes sense.
That means he cares and wants to do the best for himself and wants to be a competitor, right? You're a competitor.
Yeah.
That's it. I could understand that.
I wonder then if you could speak to the process of getting to winning a mate, actually contending in 3 of them, winning one of them from where he was when you guys first started this.
Sorry, ask question again, Jake.
If you could just talk about the process of Bryson getting to winning a major, contending in 2 others, Masters and the PGA, after some tough times, and you probably saw those.
I have no answer for that because there's only one person that knows that answer, and that's the guy next to me.
I can say that he's helped a lot through. I remember 2022 Singapore, right? Or 2023 or 2022?
Did I
22,
insult you?
yeah.
No,
23.
We pissed him off
23.
so much he walked off the golf course because we made fun of him because he was struggling with his game. So
Oh,
there's a
there
little
you
bit
go.
of, there's a lot of tough love. We've given him a lot of
That's right.
everything we've ever done with Bryson comes from a place of love, and we care about him, and all 3 of us, because Chucky's not here, but he's the same, and so we do it in different ways. Barn probably has a slightly softer method, a softer
A lot
way of
softer.
things. Chucky's matter of fact, yes, sir. I can be fairly brutal at times, but if I've ever said anything or messaged Bryson or whatever it is, usually it starts with like, I'm telling you this because I care about you, and so we need to discuss something. Or
We
need to
got
fix
good
something.
cop, bad cop, medium cop in the 3 of us. Essentially, he's definitely
in
bad
Singapore,
cop.
he walked off the golf course, didn't you?
I was in a different place. But that's the thing. That's what shows how important this team actually is. People downplay the team aspect a lot, and I can tell you that the reason why I did as well in the majors this year and won Pinehurst was because of my team. The guys pushing me, moving me forward. In the worst times, I'll never forget in Singapore, I just sat down with my guys at lunch. I'm like, I have no idea what to do. And we looked at my golf swing and was checking it out, and they were helping out, and we were going through things. And ultimately, it took a little bit more time, but that consistent perseverance by my team to help me out. And it just shows how important the team aspect is. And it's for a lot of others out here, too. I mean, there's a lot of other guys that have struggled with certain things that their team has come around them and helped them out. And, golf is a very individualistic, tough sport, mentally especially. So when you get a group of guys out here that you can bolster around and have them come support you in tough times, it just means the world and gives us a fresh perspective that I think continues to move this league and those individuals forward in a really positive way, of which the likes we don't see very often anywhere else.
Okay, last one from Joy.
My question to all of you, despite having a great season and all of you have done well individually as well as team, how annoying or frustrating is it that you have not got an individual win this year?
Extremely.
Agree.
Yeah, it's disappointing. I think we're all capable every single week, and we've got a great chance to do it. We just, unfortunately, haven't had the cards fall in the way that we want them.
Bryson, if I can ask you, you showed us some pictures of the golf course designing that you're doing right next to your house.
My backyard. Okay, yeah.
When you come to a golf course, how do you look at it? I mean, as a player and as someone who studies the game so much. So if you come over here, how do you look at this golf course?
Yeah, it's interesting. So for me, first off, I look at it aesthetically. I just see if it's pleasing to the eye, number one. Number two, if I'm looking at a golf course for how I'm going to play the golf course, it's much different than how others play the golf course and how I would design a golf course. But, like on a golf course this week, I'm focused on where can I hit it? Where are places that are acceptable that allow me to hit it on the green and give myself a good chance for birdie? Best case and worst case. And then I go from there. I set parameters for a golf course for me. And I work off of that. Building a golf course is completely different than that. That's a whole other thing. But for me, I have done some cool things in the backyard that's going to test my game so I can be sharp going into any tournament for years to come. I feel like I've built something that can help test every facet around the greens and allow me to be comfortable going to any golf course. So that's where, translating it over to a golf course, I really look at the parameters. Where can I miss it, and trying to tighten those parameters to make sure I don't get too far off the beaten path. I'm not sure if that really answers it, but for a golf course here, it's mainly where can I be and setting parameters for being comfortable in order to hit it onto the green and make birdie as many times as possible.
And you guys talked about the team aspect of it and what happened with you in Singapore last year. How was it? How difficult was it, or how the same team aspect of it when this tournament was played last year and Ban lost out to you?
Say that again. I'm not sure I understand the question.
So you spoke about the team aspect, and
Yeah.
when you were struggling, the others helped out.
Yeah.
And just take us back 1 year, and when Ban lost out to you over here.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy, obviously, and we're all individuals trying to win, but also, there's that team aspect that we all care deeply about. Did I want to win? Sure. Would I have loved to have gone into a playoff? Absolutely. It's one of those catch-22s for me. It's like it's tough, but knowing that he's playing great golf, he's still continuing to play great golf. He's done some great things this year, and we know that Ban hasn't done exactly what he's wanted to do and what he can do. But us being there to support him no matter what in tough times is what the team aspect's all about. I know Paul can win out here. He should have won already out here this year, and we're all and Charles obviously had an injury, and he won 2023 first event. So again, we all have that capability. We know it. We all feel for each other, but with the team aspect, we also do appreciate and respect how hard we've all worked to get to a certain place. And even if an individual doesn't win, we still wrap around them and go, it's all good. We're a team. We're going to continue to move forward, continue to make strides, and continue to play great golf. So that's the way I perceive it as a captain, and I hope I can continue to shell that out to the players in whatever facet it is. So yeah, last year was difficult for me, even though I had won. It was a catch-22 for sure.
We've got to get these guys to their pro-am, so we got to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much. Good luck this week, Crushers. Good luck, all three of you, and we will see you in Dallas.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
You.
Thanks, Shane.